All right. Think we are officially live here. At least it says I am. So we'll find out here soon. Do me a favor. If you are watching this live and you can hear me, see me, go ahead and drop a comment in there so I know that we're good to go. And today, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about the secret to building a loyal audience in your niche that will buy. Now, I've done this numerous times. I continue to do this. I teach this. And there's really 4 things that we need to do in order to have a loyal audience. Now, an audience can be done on a variety of different platforms. I'm going to be using email. Okay. When you have an email list, that to me is your audience. If someone is paying attention to you, that is your audience, right? If you go and, I don't know, go to a chamber of commerce meetup and people are paying attention to you because you have an expertise and they're listening, that's your audience. Maybe it's 4 people. Doesn't matter. People think of audiences as this massive thing. It doesn't have to be. But if you do this right and you do it consistently over time, you can build an audience, and it doesn't have to be that big, that can really, really accelerate the growth of your brand. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And again, I'm titling this The Secret to Building a Loyal Audience in Your Niche That Will Buy. And I think you're going to be surprised because it's pretty simple, but it does take a little bit of work, a little bit of effort, but any of us can do this. And I'm doing it as we speak right now. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. I am going to get this thing started here pretty shortly. I do want to just check the comments, make sure that we are being seen and heard. Karen, what's up? Good morning to you. Always good to see you. Ruth, good to see you. Salama, good to see you. Karen, what is up? Good morning. Scott and Brand Rocker, Sunny here. Awesome. Hey, Karen, I want to say too, I'm on your email list, so I always see your emails coming through when I check that email. And love what you're doing. Great consistency on the emails. Keep it up. Noel, what's up? Good morning to you. Diamond, good to see you on YouTube. So thank you so much. Speaking of YouTube, I just posted a brand new video yesterday, and it has to do a little bit about what we're talking about here today. And that is a big mistake that people make. And it does go hand in hand with what we're talking about. It really talks about how to do the follow-up correctly. We're going to talk a little bit about that here today. But if you want to check that video out, then head on over to the YouTube channel. And you can find that by heading over to brandcreators.com/YouTube. And you can check that out. And I might even have a handy dandy little link here. Yeah, it's another whiteboard training. brandcreators.com/YouTube. And guess what? It's free. You don't even have to pay for it. All you got to do is actually click a button and go over there, or a link, and then watch it. And I think it's like 9 minutes long. So check it out. In other great news that I want to share with you guys today before we get going here is we have been approved for one of our niche sites that we're building inside the Academy for Mediavine. Yay! What does that mean? Well, hopefully it means higher RPMs, which is basically a fancy way of saying getting paid more for your visitors. Right now, we're at about 72,000 page views a month. So we can get paid per 1,000, and usually it ranges from $5 all the way up to $30 or more sometimes. So it can be significant. So I'm really excited about that. If you're in Brand Creators Academy, stay tuned, because this Thursday, tomorrow, actually, on our office hours call, we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And we're also going to be sharing the behind the scenes stuff there and that whole process and kind of the process we're still going through, because we're still not live with the ads yet. That should probably happen within a week. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. But yay, we did it. Mediavine, here we come. So we'll check it out. All right, guys. So that's what we're going to do. Today's topic, like I said, we are going to be talking about the secret to building a loyal audience in your niche that will buy, that will become a customer. All right. So that's what we're going to be talking about. All right. So here we go. I'm going to kick this thing off officially. If you guys have any questions for this, let me know. Drop them in the comments. And then also I will let you know that Friday on our jam session, we are going to be talking about another great question. What are good email open and click metrics? That's going to be the discussion. Okay. What is good opens, good clicks? What should we expect? What should we shoot for? How to maybe even improve them. I can talk a little bit about that. So that's what we're going to be talking on the Friday jam session. So if you're interested in that topic, then come on back. All right. And we'll see you on Friday. All right, cool. So here we go. We're going to officially kick this off. Here we go. All right. Welcome to this edition of the podcast or of the Facebook Live for our coffee talk. However you're listening to this, today I'm excited because we're going to be talking about the secret to building a loyal audience in your niche that will buy, that will become a customer. I have four steps, let's call them, that are going to allow you to do this. They are the same 4 steps that I've used over and over and over again in multiple niches, and I continue to do it to this day. And I'm going to share with you how to do this. Now, one thing I do want to throw out there, a lot of people think of an audience of this massive thing. It's got to be a giant audience. Wrong. My very, very first audience that I built was through an email. Now, again, we'll talk a little bit about this. I'm going to be referring to email, but if you have an Instagram following and you have good engagement, that's the key there. If you have a following of some sort where you have people's attention, then that is an audience, right? But that audience, we really want to get them on a platform, email, that we can control. Okay, so when we send an email, we have control of that. And we can also make that audience even more loyal by sending them emails. That's what I'm going to be using as the vehicle, as the platform to allow us to do this. But there are 4 things that we're going to be talking about that will make this a lot easier. And if you do them, you have a really good chance of building a loyal audience in your niche that will buy. All right. And that will rave about you. Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, I do want to also say this because a lot of people think, again, it has to be this massive list. It doesn't. Our very first list that I built, which I didn't know what I was doing, by the way, guys, I didn't know what I was doing, but now looking back, I did it right. Because I was following these 4 steps that I didn't even realize were the critical steps in order to make this happen. And I'll explain that. But we had just under 1,000 email subscribers. Okay, let me repeat that. We had under 1,000 email subscribers. Now, this is back probably around, let's see here. I'd say over 10 years ago. Okay. And Aweber was the big email, autoresponder that I was using. And back then they were like one of the bigger companies. Now there's a lot more. ConvertKit's really doing well. It's the one I love using. But I built a list on Aweber, sending broadcast, and I think I might have put a automated sequence in place somewhere along the lines. But I basically followed these 4 principles, okay, these 4 steps. And after about 6 months, it was, and the only reason why it took that long is because I didn't have anything to sell them. After 6 months, I did my first internal launch, meaning I only used my list, that I had a loyal audience of 1,000 people. Now, not all 1,000 people were open my emails, by the way, either. It was probably 25 or 30%. So let's call it 250, 300 people that were paying attention, maybe. And out of that list, that audience, I was able to sell $12,500-ish worth of digital products, my first digital product. And I did that all through email, okay, from a list of just under 1,000 people. Okay. So when you hear people say you got to have a big list, the size of the list is what matters and all of that nonsense, I'm here to tell you no. Focus on the people on your list, treat them as people. They are a subscriber, but that's a person on the other end of that conversation that you're having. And if you really take that to heart and you genuinely care and you pour some love into the list, into your subscribers, you will build a loyal audience. And these people will buy. Not everyone, but enough of them. And maybe the time isn't right now, but if you follow these 4 steps, it's going to make it a lot easier to sell and then also to continue to add what I call goodwill. All right. So let's get into it. The very first thing, important thing, one of the most important things is the lead magnet. The lead magnet has to be, number one, the right thing to attract the right person. If it's not the right thing, it's not going to attract the right person. And I see this mistake happening when people are trying to build a list using a giveaway. I'm a big fan of giveaways, but the product that you're giving away or the thing you're giving away needs to align with that person. If you're just going to raffle off a new pair of headphones or something like that, a laptop or an iPad, something like that, anyone and everyone would want that. So it doesn't align with the audience. So the very first thing is you have to get the lead magnet right. We're running one right now as an experiment. We did it we did it free and a paid of the same lead magnet. We're experimenting with that. And it's our ebook. Okay. It's a guide. It's 100 pages and it's our email list building playbook of how we generated 9,332 subscribers in 30 days. And we documented the whole thing inside of our academy. And then we had the book, basically created out of all of these videos that we did. And it distilled down into a 100-page ebook. It's really valuable. If you got that for free, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I can't believe they're giving this away for free. They're nuts, right? We want to give them value. Now, it doesn't have to be 100-page. It could be 1 page, as long as it delivers a result. And as long as the value of it is giving them something that they can actually do or get a result or get the answer. So the lead magnet needs to deliver. Do not skimp on the lead magnet. Okay. So that's number one. It needs to be valuable. And when they get it, they're gonna be like, that was great. I'm so glad that I gave that person my email address. So that's it, right? Number one, lead magnet. You're probably gonna experiment with lead magnets too, by the way. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But I would test one and then see how it goes, see how the response is. Moving on. The second piece. And this here, I just did a YouTube video on this for free, by the way. And you can find that by heading over to brandcreators.com/YouTube. And you can go to the YouTube channel. And depending on when you go to that video, you will see that in the email marketing little playlist, we have that video there. Okay. It's 9 minutes long. And it's where I go through the first 7 days of your email sequence. Really, really important. This is like the most critical time. Think about this. You just met this person. They signed up for your thing, right? Your lead magnet. And now you're basically just following back up saying like, hey, did you get it? Did you have any problems getting it? I want to be of service to you. Okay. And so basically we're just following up with them to make sure that they were able to get the download or they're able to get signed up or they're able, whatever. We're trying to show back up and also reminding them of who we are. That's critical because someone just came from the internet to your page, however you were directing them there. It could have been a social media post. It could have been a Facebook ad. It could have been a podcast. It could have been anything. And they went there, they saw it, they downloaded the thing because they wanted the result it was going to give them. And then from there, you're showing back up and you're reminding them, oh, it was me that gave you that thing. I'm here to help you. Okay. And so that is really, really important. So the first 7 days, I like to send at least 3 emails. One, immediately, as soon as they download the thing, I'm going to follow up with them and say, hey, did you get your download? Here's the link again, just in case you didn't. If you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later, Scott. That's it. That's the email. Okay. The second one might be any questions on the bass fishing guide? ? And then you field any questions. And then the last one could be maybe something along the lines of, oh, one extra tip on how to catch more bass. Left this or forgot this one in the guide or something like that, right? Something related to what they signed up for. That's why it's so important to understand the lead magnet, how you're attracting them, and then you're following back up. So an example of this would be right now, people are actually right now, you can't get it for free. We're charging $1 for it because we're testing. It's $1 for the playbook. And the only way you can get it is through a Facebook ad right now because we're testing just Facebook ads with it because we want to test that, right? You should do the same thing in your business and in your brand. And so we're following up with those people about email marketing, right? So an email could look like one mistake to avoid when building your email list. You just signed up for the ebook that talks about how to build a list of 9,332 subscribers. And then the next email comes in and says, don't make this mistake about email marketing or using email. Email marketing, email, right? Everything email. If I had them sign up for a bass fishing guide, I know they want to catch more bass because that's what it said, right? 5 tips to catch more bass. Well, if I put another email out there that says one mistake to avoid when trying to catch bass fishing, right? So we need to address that. And it's really important that we put that thing in the subject line for at least the first 3 emails, because then it reminds them, number one, it's the thing that they want. So they're like, yes. And then they associate that with your name. So when your name comes into their inbox, they're like, oh, Scott Voelker. Oh, email marketing, email list building. Yes, I get it. Okay. We're building that relationship over time and I'm getting them to know me. Okay. And then I'm getting them to know me, but I'm also getting them to like me because I'm delivering value and I'm getting them to trust me. So know, like, trust, really important. And you might want to write that one down. Okay. So that's like the first 7 days. Okay. And what you really want to do here after these 7 days, this is the third piece here, is you want to email once per week minimum. Okay. Get a schedule where you always send an email once a week minimum. And I don't care if you don't know what to say, come up with something to say or ask them a question, but you have to stay in their life. Okay. You have to remind them who you are. You're here to help. I'm also interested in bass fishing. We have something in common. Okay. So make sure that you do that. Now, in these weekly emails, you can deliver value, which you should always lead with value. And then in the PS, little soft pitch, just a little soft pitch, and let them know that you have things for sale. Okay. You don't have to hard pitch them, but you would lead with value, give them a tip of some kind or something that you've learned or something that you want them to know that will benefit them, and then sign off. And then PS, if you'd like to take your bass fishing to the next level, you should, check out my ultimate video training, on how to catch more bass or how to win your next tournament, something like that. Soft. Okay. And you don't have to do this all the time, but if you start to let them know that you have things for sale, number one, you have a chance to make a sale. Number two, you're also letting them know you do sell stuff. So it's not a shocker. It's like, oh, I see. They're giving me value and then they're going to sell me. Let them know you got stuff for sale. Okay. But let them know that you also lead with value. Okay. So that's the third thing. Weekly emails, value, soft pitch. And then the fourth thing is consistency. And yes, I just said weekly emails, but consistency meaning you consistently have to show up. You consistently have to remind them. You consistently have to give value. You consistently have to make offers. Okay. So you might even show up, I don't know, 3 weeks later, and you might have a little mini promotion. Maybe it's a 3-day promotion. And there's ways to do this where you're not selling and you're hard selling. And we talk about this in the email list building fast track workshop. I have an area there where I talk about that as far as, how to write an email that's, giving value, but then also making an offer. We also have an additional training that goes over our sequences. One of them is what we call our 4-day profit push, which, it promotes, it has a deadline there. And from there, that's like promotion mode. And then from there leads me to the next thing. Okay. And this is a little side note, little bonus, but very important. I actually capitalized it here on my notes. Important. Anytime that you run a promotion, anytime, and this is a big mistake I see a lot of people making, they don't do this, is you want to immediately follow up after that promotion is over. Give it a day, let it rest, and come right back to adding value. Okay? Adding value. Always, always, always deliver more value for free. And I was doing, like I said, I was doing all of this, not even knowing what I was doing. It just felt right. Right? I come from a place of, I never want people to think that I am just going to show up and I want you to buy something from me. I never want that, because that's not, I don't ever mean that if that's the way that would ever come across. If someone was in my neighborhood and they came over and asked me for advice, I wouldn't be like, well, yeah, I'll give you some advice if you pay me. I'd give them some advice, but there's only so much advice I can give them. And then they'd be like, well, do you have any training for that? I'd be like, yeah, actually I have a workshop, and here's the link, emaillistclass.com, if you want to know more about email list building. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. They go check it out. They're not going to go, can I have it for free? Right? It's a paid product. It's part of my business. It's what I do, right? So I'm always leading with value because I want to build that relationship. I want the know, like, and trust factor. I want that because that's what I believe in. And that's how I would want it to be handled in a relationship if I was on the other end of it. So to me, I always want to treat people the way that I would want to be treated. Okay. And if what I'm doing is offending someone, and I look at that and I'm like, yeah, that would offend me too, I don't want to do that, then I wouldn't do it. But if I'm okay with it, then I'm okay with it. There is a place that you have to sell. Promotions are happening every single day of our lives, all over the place. Doesn't matter if it's a car dealer, a mattress place, whatever, right? But we have to lead with value. So this way here, we deposit goodwill in the bank, in a sense, okay? And we're going to deplete that when we're running promotions. We're going to deplete some of that. It's going to go down, but then immediately if we come back, guess what? We start building the goodwill back, okay? And to me, it's just a perfect marriage, because I don't have to feel as though I'm only selling. I'm only showing up here right now for you to buy something. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I've sprinkled in a couple of ways that you could go and purchase something. Brand Creators Academy. You could go fill out an application. brandcreatorsacademy.com. There you go. Commercial, right? No, I'm just letting you know this is what we do inside the academy. If you want more information, go there, check it out, fill out an application. If you want to join sometime, great, right? Email list building fast track workshop. I talked a little bit about that. You can go over there, check that out. No hard sell, but I'm here delivering value. If you take what I'm teaching you right now, lead magnet, lead with a great lead magnet, then put a goodwill sequence in place, 7 days. Then after that, weekly emails with value delivered to that inbox for that person with a soft pitch, and then consistency. Keep doing it. Don't stop. And then just after the promotion, make sure that you keep delivering value and you show back up delivering value. And that's it. Like, I just gave you that. If you just follow that and you never purchased anything from me, you should get good results. And then guess what? You'd be like, I never bought anything from Scott, but man, that guy helped me out. He's all right. He's an okay guy. I like him. And then you might talk about me to someone else at the barbecue that might be thinking about starting their business or growing their business or building an email list because they have a local business and they want to bring more people in. I mean, guys, do you realize that? Building an email list, like local businesses, not doing it. Man, they should be. They should be. And they should be doing stuff like this here. I mean, I think about these beer breweries. Man, imagine that, showing them making the brew and posting it on social, and maybe getting someone on an email list that they can talk about a new blend, or maybe they can have, the community come together and come up with a formulation, and then they name it after, like, there's so many things that you could do. But a lot of times people are, I just need to sell, right? Social media is for selling, and Facebook ads are only for selling, and building an email list is only for selling. And that's wrong. It's for building relationships with real people that, yes, can buy from you, but they also can talk good about you. See, that's what people don't also realize, is that when you build a good relationship with your audience, with your list, they will talk about you. And hopefully it's in a good way, right? Funny story. And this doesn't have to do with email, but it's my point is how you can be different, right? There's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of email marketers out there in the online make money space that are, they're hurting the reputation of what we do, because we do it the opposite. But I always look at like other companies and how they try to separate themselves. So my wife gets this box every month, and it's I think it's called Grove. It's all like organic, like cleaning products and Murphy's, and I think it's Murphy's, or is that Murphy's? I forget. And then these sponges, and then whatever else she orders, right? And it's all more natural, organic-y stuff, and it's called Grove, I believe. And the box comes nice. It's a brown box, organic-y looking, says Grove on it, I think. And then on the very top, someone hand writes, "I heart you, Lisa." What company does that? Well, another one that does that is Chewy.com. They literally have someone handwrite. I looked at it. I inspected it to see if it was digitally done. They handwrite it. I did a little bit of research, and I actually verified that. They handwrite a card to their customers, and they call out their name and even their dog's name at times when they have that name handy, because they collect that data. Just stuff like that people don't do. And when you do it, separates you. It makes you talk about them. I'm talking about them right now, right? So if you deliver a great experience for that person that gave you their email address, they trusted you in that email address, and you show up and deliver value, not always thinking, how am I going to extract money? You will build a loyal audience that will pay you for years. And not just in the form of money, but in the form of publicity, talking about you, sharing you, and just raving about you. And think about all that positive energy coming from the universe that's going to come back to you. I know, a little woo-woo-y, but I do believe that is the case. Like, when we're putting good out there, we will attract good. So to me, the secret to really building a loyal audience in your niche, in your market, that will buy, become a customer, is following those 4 key components. Let's repeat them one more time. 1, the lead magnet. You need to have a valuable lead magnet. It doesn't have to be a big one or anything like that. It just has to deliver a result, give them a solution, help them in some way. 2, a goodwill sequence in the first 7 days, critical. 3rd thing, after those 7 days, weekly emails. Schedule them, meaning I don't mean schedule them, automate them. I'm saying schedule them. Monday, you send out your email by 9 a.m., whatever. Okay. And put a value based email together with a soft pitch. Okay. And then consistency. Okay. Keep doing it over and over and over again. And then lastly, little note is, if you do run a promotion, which I think you should, follow up with some goodwill immediately. Okay. Hey, you're still here. You didn't go away. I don't know if you've followed any big launches that some of these companies do, or these gurus do, and they get all these affiliates together, and everybody's mailing for everyone, and they're just pushing and they're pushing, and you're being bombarded, your inbox, and everything's all hyped up, and we're going to be here. We're going to be here. Everything's great. And then all of a sudden the launch is over. Boom, nothing. You don't hear from them anymore. That was one reason that I swore I would never do that, because I didn't like the way that felt. It felt like you were only there to try to deliver value to me so you could sell me. And then if I didn't buy, you were gone. Didn't like that. Okay. So I changed it for my own business and my own self. Feels better. I sleep better at night knowing that I'm putting good out there. All right. So hopefully this helped you. Let's go ahead and turn it over to some Q&A here. We've got a little bit of time. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you're going to hear a little bit of Q&A here. And yeah, this is what we do on our coffee talks. Again, for free. If you want to head on over to takeactioncrew.com, you can sign up and be part of our morning crew. So let's see. We got any questions here? Let's see. Okay. So Chantel, I have the audience. I just need to find what they want to buy. So here's a very, very easy way to do this. Send an email and just say, hey, I need some feedback or I need help. And then inside of there, say, what is one thing that you need help with? And let them tell you, right? What is one product you wish that you had? What's one product that you wish was better, right? So you have to do some digging. Let the audience tell you what they want. Or if there's 4 things that you're considering, give them 4 choices. I'm thinking about creating, this is exactly what I did, by the way. I'm thinking about creating a workshop on email, list building, content creation, digital products, and I think the other one was like email writing. Which one would you be most interested in? A, B, C, or D? And then guess what? The first one that was most popular, email list building. Guess what the first one I did? Email list building. Right? So you have to put the question out there and ask them. If you have social media and that's your following, put a post up, A, B, C, or D. Let them vote. And then you create it. You can actually pre-sell that, by the way. That's what we've done. Works great. A lot of good mornings. Here, okay, Salma, do you still have your niche validating lead magnet? So if so, where can I find it? It's funny that you bring that up, because we do not still have that. We do, but it's not public anymore. We are going to make that available. We have to tweak it a little bit, but that will be coming back. So when I do have that, I will let you know. It is also in our brand creators playbook, brandcreatorsbook.com. Another little shameless plug there. Brandcreatorsbook.com. That'll have that checklist in there. Let's see. Do you use the same nurture sequence after all different lead magnets? If not, how many should you test and not have it get too complicated with the sequences? That is a problem. So I would start with 1 lead magnet and 1 follow-up sequence. That's it, right? So I would test the 1 lead magnet and I would put together maybe 3 emails. That's it. Okay. If the lead magnet doesn't get the attention that you or the response that you're hoping for, then I would move on and test another lead magnet. But I would build 3 emails and that would follow up with them. And basically you're following up with them to, number 1, ask if they have any questions on it, make sure that they got the downloads, and maybe point out 1 or 2 things that's in the lead magnet that you want to make sure that they understand or that you bring their attention back to. And what this does is you get to email them a few times. And again, associating what you're talking about with who you are starts to get that relationship built. So I would not start jumping all over the place with different lead magnets, because that can get confusing. Okay. So I would not do that. I suck at this, Chantel says, LOL. No, you don't. Just put together that email or that post and just come up with either an open-ended question. Let them tell you what's your biggest problem on catching bass. That's it. What's your biggest sticking point? What do you need the most help with right now to catch more bass? And let them tell you. Let's see. What else can I do in my emails to bring people to website and buy? I have done the question email 3 or 4 times. So again, when we are sending an email to people randomly and we don't have a specific promotion running, it's not going to be as effective. It's kind of like in passing. But Karen, what I would do is I would do a sequence that's promoting. So one way that you could do this as well, and this is getting a little bit more, I don't want to say complicated because it's really not. It's just a couple more steps. But what you could do is, let's say that you are selling your I think you're talking about probably your educational like guides and things like that. If yours is on like teaching a kid the ABCs, and you have a little email that talks about the ABCs, and then at the PS it says that, if you'd like to get our fast start to learning your ABCs in the next 7 days, go here. Like that would be your call to action. But the email can't be so all over the place that you're just throwing that in, because it's not going to be as effective. But here's what you could do. Let's say that you put out an email that said, learn your ABCs in want your kid to learn the ABCs in the next 7 days, ? And then maybe brackets, read this. And then that's going to flag the people that are interested in that type of learning. And then inside the email, you're going to basically give them maybe a quick tip or something like that about how they can do it themselves. And then in the PS, it would be like, oh, and if you want help with this, we have a fast track way to learn your ABCs training. If you're interested, click here. And then what you could do is, if they clicked on that link and they didn't buy, you could then create another sequence that would only go to the people that clicked on that link. And that would be maybe a bonus that you would add that would go away, like a deadline sequence. So there are ways to do that, but I think you have to get more narrow and focused on whatever the offer is, and then create the emails and the content to surround that. Okay. What would you measure exactly to validate lead magnet success? How long would you test it organically versus Facebook ads? Well, organically, if you only have 10 visitors a day, it's going to take you a lot longer to test that. If you have a Facebook ad running, what I personally would do is this. All right. And anyone that's in business or starting a business needs to understand that this is part of the operating and the startup cost, let's call it. I would dedicate between $100 and $200 for ads, just for the test. And then I would put the lead magnet out there, and I would drive, I would try to drive at least 100 visitors to that page. And from there, I would want to see a 20% minimum opt-in rate for that. Okay. So 20%, that's what I would want to see. If it's not getting me 20%, then it's not probably resonating with that audience. But again, you have to kind of find the target audience that you're targeting, which is pretty easy to do, but that's where I would spend that money organically. Now, if you have a website that you've been building and you're getting, 100 visitors a day, and you want to put a pop-up there and test a lead magnet, there you go, right? But if you don't have the traffic, it's going to take you longer to do that. Does paid lead magnet lead to more engaged subs? It can. It absolutely can. So again, we're testing that, and in the past, I never did paid lead magnets as much. Now I'm playing and experimenting with that. But also, when you have a paid lead magnet, it allows you then to have an upsell or a bump a lot easier than just putting it on the thank you page. And your conversions will be a little bit higher on that, but they'll be lower on the lead magnet conversion. A little bit more, I don't want to say difficult or complicated, but just a little bit more there to set that up. But yes, I would say if you have someone that pays versus someone that's free, will be a little bit, I don't even want to say more engaged. They may be more apt to buy, but it's not across the board. So I wouldn't necessarily say yes, 100%. All right. So that's it, guys. That's going to wrap up this little session here on how to build an audience of engaged people that will eventually buy from you, or not even buy, but spread the word about you. So again, I would follow what I just outlined for you. And I know to some people, it might not be that sexy because, it's not going right after the sales. But to me, it's about building that know, like, and trust. Once we do that, then from there, we can do all of the other things, because now they know us. When our email comes in, you don't even have to worry about the subject line as much, because they recognize the name, and that goes a long way. So guys, that's it. That's going to wrap up this little coffee talk, this little podcast episode. And if you want more information about building your list, head on over to emaillistclass.com. Again, that's emaillistclass.com, and you can get all the information over there, and you can attend that on-demand class. See what I just did there? That's what you do. Just head on over and check it out. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.